Hey everyone, Sir Owen Disney here. It's Monday. We're going to talk Monday Night Raw, and lots of things happened on Raw tonight, but I will talk about that in just a moment. So first, I do want to bring up a little housekeeping. First off, number one, if you're curious, it's 7-Up 10. Okay, now, I totally recommend the 7-Up 10, Dr. Pepper 10, the Sunkist 10, all the 10 beverages. I recommend them all. They're all amazing. So check them out if you get a chance to. They're not everywhere, so they're kind of hard to find, but they're really good. Okay. Let's talk about what's been going on. Okay. I have found out the hard way, that when you are customizing a magic band, that if you put a singular name on it that at least one other person in the entire world has, there's a really good chance you'll get your magic band lickety-split. But if you put something that's a little harder and not as recognizable, or something that you wouldn't even think of having, it's going to take a bit for customization. It is Monday, and it is still customizing the magic band. It says, as of this moment, I will actually read this verbatim here. Something I've seen a billion times lately. Excuse me. My magic band is currently awaiting... I gotta say this right. Okay, your magic bands are being customized, and they will ship soon. Okay, so... why is it taking so long, you ask? I'll tell you. No. It wasn't easy just to put Owen on my magic band like I did with my blue one. Oh no. This time I went for Sir Owen. And since I went for Sir Owen, and that's not a commonplace name that you could just toss in a box and ship out to my house, that's why I'm having to wait a little bit longer. So that sucks. But I at least guarantee I have my one other magic band, which is, actually, you can see it in the frame. In the back behind me, to my left, right, depending on where you are, like this way, it's my right, or it might be your left. I'm not exactly sure how that works out, but you see a picture, and I can show you this picture. I'll show you this picture real quick, actually. I'm pretty proud of this picture. This is a picture of me wearing my Ms. I'm Awesome baseball jersey that I got. And this is the first picture that was taken of me when I became a member of the Disney Vacation Club. Actually, this was taken at Saratoga Springs, where I bought in to the Wilderness Lodge Villas, which I still haven't stayed at yet. So they gave me some awesome ice cream, and then they took this awesome picture of me, so I have this now, so it's pretty cool. And behind me also is, like I said, my Google Nexus 7 second generation tablet, as well as my Magic Band box is right behind me. And if you look behind that, you can't really see it, because it's covered up by my... there we go. So this right here, this is my actual tablet. That's the tablet box. And on top of that, my Magical Express documents and my Anchor external battery, including notepads and pens to do my Raw recaps, and SmackDown recaps, and NXT recaps, and Impact recaps, and pay-per-view recaps. Anytime I have to recap something. So, it's going to take a bit to get Sir Owen's Magic Band. Like, it didn't take long to get Owen's Magic Band. It's going to take a bit to get Sir Owen's Magic Band. Okay. Now, the reason I'm drinking this is because I have to go downstairs to get my soda. Alright? All my soda is downstairs on a table. Like a back table. Right? When you get down the steps, like, one of the first things you see is this big, giant, long, like, wooden press table. And that's where my soda is. So I carried it upstairs, and I dropped 2 cans. One of which was the 7-Up. The other of which is a mellow yellow zero that I am not imbibing on yet until I finish my 7-Up 10. Alright. So, awesome. Now, movies. Getaway was already built when I got here today at work, so needless to say, we know we got it, and we're going to be watching it Thursday night at 8 o'clock. And that's the only thing we're going to be watching at my theater this weekend because, well, watching new movies. Because I don't care what all you marks say out there, and I don't care what you little teeny boppers say, there's not another movie that comes out this weekend. You know what I'm talking about. Sorry. I hate One Direction. So here's the thing. Since there's no other movies, we're going to watch Kick-Ass again. So we're going to watch Kick-Ass before we do the movie reviews. So let's set up tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow I'm working until 5. Thank God it's only till 5. It's been a long week, and it's going to be even longer in the next few days. So what we've got, we're going to be watching Shaun of the Dead, and I'm going to get to watch Hot Fuzz for the first time, and then we're going to shoot the verses for this week, which the cryptic comment is 31 flavors. And then tomorrow night, you will get our The World's End review. Just a nice bonus review. Don't have to wait to Friday for it. And then come Friday, we will be doing AJ's movie reviews, which in this case will be, I believe, Passion is on there. And we are also going to be talking about The Bling Ring, Blackfish, and let me see if there's anything else that I'm not thinking about. Yeah, there is one more thing I'm not thinking about, and I am thinking about it, and the reason I'm doing that is because coming to AJ's movie reviews on Friday will be Sharknado. That's right, AJ watched it today. I actually talked to him. So, yeah, Sharknado is going to be on the movie review for Friday. So that's going to be cool. Don't know what's coming up in Athens next few weeks. I know they're getting Big Star, and I need to check that out. It's a documentary on the band Big Star. Hopefully we'll get that next couple of weeks. Looking at Closed Circuit, it's in very, very limited release right now on Friday, so I don't think we're going to get it. Same with the Grandmaster. I don't think we're going to get that either. No big whoop. Grandmaster's been online for a long time, and I'm not really worried about Closed Circuit. It'll probably be something I can catch on VOD somewhere down the road. So we've got that. That's all taken care of. So, let's talk about what's going on, and the reason why you guys and girls out there are all here watching this video. To watch me drink 7-Up 10? Nah. Reason you are here is to hear me talk about Monday Night Raw. So, there are 3 promos on this show that were so amazing, I cannot do them justice. I'd love to have been verbatim on all 3. The first one is the opening promo, and I was a little bit close on that. The middle promo would be the AJ Lee pipe bomb, which was absolutely outstanding, which I wish I would have got more of. And the third one is the Bray Wyatt promo about Sister Abigail that I actually already recited on the SmackDown video that is on this very pop playlist. Or if you're not on the pop playlist, you can check it out on the NXT and SmackDown playlist. It's last week's video. So, let's start the show, and the first thing we see when we go live to Phoenix, Arizona is The Shield, and they are standing at guarding the rampway so no one else can come down the ramp, basically, do anything. So, of course, Triple H comes out to bow down to the King. Oh yeah, this is Triple H showing his dominance as COO by coming out to 2 separate entrance themes. Don't think there's going to be another DX reunion now, because I think they hate Triple H a little more now than they did before. He says SummerSlam was just simply business. But the end of Raw last week, now that was personal. You know why? It was because of Daniel Bryan's actions. He insulted Stephanie, he insulted Triple H, he insulted the McMahon family. So that was his personal response. So he brings Randy Orton out, and he comes out, and Triple H says, I'm going to give you a gift. And he brings out this Cadillac Escalade, which you knew right there, that's not making it more than the end of the show, if that. It's going to definitely be destroyed before the show's over. So Daniel Bryan comes out, and he stands there at the ramp, top of the ramp, obviously, the Shield guarding, so no one can get to Triple H and Randy Orton. That makes sense. Bryan stands on top of the ramp, he looks over at the Escalade and goes, sweet ride, Randy. You know, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. You worked really, really hard for that championship. I want to thank everyone in the WWE Universe, because I'm not the biggest, I'm not the strongest, or really even the prettiest. And he looks at Randy Orton, he's like, that's you, Twinkle Toes Orton. That's, actually the wording was, that's Twinkle Toes Orton in there, right there. It made me laugh. I appreciate all your support. I want to thank John Cena for the opportunity to face him in the main event for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Because clearly, someone like Triple H would not have given him that opportunity. But he wants to thank Triple H for just ending the charade and simply revealing his true colors. To show everyone that his view is just as narrow-minded and misguided as Vince McMahon's. The rebel in the black leather jacket, talking about defying authority, is now just simply a sellout in a suit that likes to thumb his rather large nose up at everyone in the entire WWE Universe. So Randy Orton, of course, jumps to his buddy's aid and says, you need to respect Triple H, he's the COO of this company. And he's like, don't forget I'm the face of the WWE. And Bryan just looks at him and says, well, let's hear it for the face. The face of the WWE. Well, at Night of Champions, that face, it's going to be rearranged. I will become the brand new WWE Champion. So, Triple H brings up Jiminy Cricket, and I knew, oh god, this isn't going to be good. And he begins to sing the opening bars of When You Wish Upon a Star. And he basically says that Orton is an A-plus player, Daniel Bryan is just simply a B at best. So tonight, you're going to get a chance to prove yourself yet again. You'll face Seth Rollins, one-on-one. And if you get past Seth Rollins, you're going to face off against the United States Champion, Dean Ambrose. And then finally, once it's all said and done, if you are somehow eke your way to victories over those two, what happens? You get Roman Reigns. So yeah, you're going to be running the Shield Gauntlet. I give you the gift that keeps on giving. The gift of justice. Because I believe in you, Daniel. And I believe it is best for business. Great opening to start the show, honestly. I very much enjoyed it. I like how this new corporation that we've pretty much coined on the internet here is just the Shield are doing the dirty work of Triple H and Randy Orton. It was really interesting. The Shield, which were defying authority as well, and the Harbingers of Justice, they are fighting the good fight, not for themselves or for their greater good. Oh no, they're doing it for Triple H, who is an authority figure. This completely negates the original concept of the Shield in every single way possible. As a matter of fact, Triple H would have been on television back then. I have a feeling he would have been triple powerbombed at one point. Given the fact that the Shield did it to Vince McMahon anyway, so why not? Well, we get our first match of the evening, and once again, Cody Rhodes is going to be opening off Monday Night Raw. Last week, he faced Damian Sandow. This week, he faces Fandango with the absolutely stunning Summer Rae. I'm telling you right now, and this is weird, I say this, it really is, but just go with me here. Okay. Look at everybody. Look at my taste in women. Okay. The AJ Lee thing, it's completely believable. For me, especially. I like cute and crazy girls. It's just how it works. Especially small, cute and crazy girls. But, I mean, she's an adorable girl. And she's also an amazing talent. She's great on the mic, but we'll talk about that later. Summer Rae, just something about her. I don't know. Just something weird. She's blonde hair, long blonde hair, long legs. Totally not my type whatsoever normally. But for something about Summer Rae just, like, appeals to me. So, yeah, I mark out for Summer Rae. She's absolutely gorgeous. So, Fandango and Cody Rhodes go to start off Raw. And, oh, by the way, for those of you that don't want to waste the time watching the JBL and Cole show, Wade Barrett is the one who shaved off the mustache of Cody Rhodes, thus doing a favor for everyone down the road and for pedophiles everywhere that were giving their facial hair a bad name. So, George Harvey says thank you. So, Cody hits a boot in the midsection and a front suplex, and Fandango goes to the ring apron, and he hits that kick to the side of the head. His music hits, and Fandango looks on rather quizzically, like, I do this to people all the time. I don't know why someone's doing it to me. And The Miz comes out in Fandango's gear with Rosa Mendez, of all people, and they dance at the top of the ramp, which allows Fandango to get distracted long enough for Cody to roll him up from behind. 1, 2, 3. Now, Damien Sandow is on commentary during this match. And Fandango jumps Cody, and basically that ends right there. And The Miz ends up charging down the ring to help, and Crossroads is about to be hit on Fandango, and Sandow makes the save, and they start putting the boots to him. The Miz comes down for the save, and Bane Maddox comes out and makes it a tag match. So, of course, we're going to get a tag match to start off the show. Cody Rhodes and The Miz taking on Fandango and Damien Sandow. So this actually was a decent opening match. Sandow with a knee drop on Cody, 1, 2, and a kick out. Tagging to Fandango. Whip, high velocity whip into the corner. Tagging to Sandow. Headbutt, and he goes for the cover, 1, 2, and a kick out. So he goes for the armbar where he presses against the side of the face. And Cody punches his way out. Gets caught with a side California leg sweep and the Kobito Akiet, the elbow of disdain, 1, 2, and a kick out. Whip in, charges in, catches the boot up, and they both have the same idea, and the former Rhodes Scholars double clothesline, double down at the same time. Tagging to The Miz, Miz comes in, crown, boot to the side of the head, comes off with a high knee, and the Yakuza kick, and Miz line in the corner. Big boots Fandango off the ring apron. He does the slide into a sunset flip on Sandow, 1, 2, and a kick out. So he kicks the side of the knee, drop kick to the knee, and he goes for the figure 4, gets kicked off. At this point, Fandango leaves. And there's a shoulder. Sandow charges off the ropes. Cody trips him, of course. Sandow has no partner now because Fandango pieced out. And Cody ends up watching the skull-crushing finale of all things by The Miz, 1, 2, 3. So thank God he's not using the figure 4. Hopefully he stops using the figure 4 and goes back to the skull-crushing finale. So 1, 2, 3, and The Miz wins the match. Fandango gets on the mic and says, "It's Fandango!" His music hits, and of course we continue this feud. I like this. I like this a lot. First off, it's as awesome because it brings Rosa Mendez back on television. That's a good thing. So, now we can have ourselves mixed tag matches. And the WWE Universe, who has no idea that Summer Rae can work, are going to get to see her wrestle, which will be awesome. And I will very much appreciate seeing Summer Rae wrestle because I've enjoyed her matches with Emma and Paige in NXT. And for most of the WWE Universe, does not watch NXT. So that means they need to be reintroduced to these characters, and the fact of this character actually can wrestle, not just be a very pretty face, or dance a little bit, or a lot in this case. So yeah, I think we're going to end up getting Miz and Rosa against Fandango and Summer Rae. I think we're going to lead this up to, obviously they're going to face off with Miz and Fandango at Night of Champions. I don't think they do a mixed tag on Night of Champions. I think it's probably like a SmackDown thing, if I had to guess. And I really want Fandango to win this feud because I want to see Fandango start getting pushed back up the card again. And I think it's going to happen. And I'm still sticking with the comment I made a couple weeks ago, and I continue to make it every week. I'm going to make it again this week. Fandango will be a singles champion before 2013 is over. It may be an overnight reign, but he'll be a singles champion. Mark my words. Alright. Christian, this is funny. Christian's talking, and Randy Orton interrupts him, and basically he gets off one of the lines of the night, and he says, Triple H likes to play with sledgehammers. It seems like he's found himself a new tool. So, repercussions on Christian before too long, if I had to guess. Given the fact that the new corporate regime of the WWE, this new dictatorship that they're calling it now, is basically going to punish anyone who defies authority. Kind of funny, because Triple H used to defy authority, and now he is completely flipped in a 180. So, if he did a 360, that means he flipped completely over and then completely over again. But he did a 180, he was only halfway flipped, so there you go. Yeah, thank you, Benedict from Last Action Hero. So, we get another match, and on the WWE app, which I'm proud to say I have, or I guess not proud to say in some cases, you got to select the stipulation for the match. It's going to be CM Punk and Curtis Axel. Intercontinental title, of course, not on the line. Now, there's 3 options. 1, Paul Heyman's banned from ringside. Yeah, it's been done before. 2, Paul Heyman's a special guest referee. What mark wrestling fans in the WWE are going to pick this stipulation? 3, if Punk wins, he gets Paul Heyman in a match. That makes total sense. I've done the stipulation before. I've been victimized by the stipulation before. One of my guys has lost before in a match, and I ended up having to face the babyface, and it wasn't pretty. So, I know the stipulation works, and that's how the mind of a wrestling fan works, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to lead up to it. And that's exactly what happens. So, this match was actually quite short, but it's okay. It was good for what it was. I enjoyed the match overall. Okay, so, Punk with the running knee in the corner, short arm clothesline out of the corner, cover, 1-2, and a kick out. He goes up top, preferably for the Savage Elbow. Axel rolls out to the floor to stop Punk's momentum. Punk hits him with a tope and whip in, and when they get back in the ring, he whips him in, and just like he did, just like he did on SmackDown, and also just like he did at SummerSlam, mainly SummerSlam, he puts on the brakes, and of course he ducks the clothesline, nails the clubbing blow to the back of the neck, 1-2, and a kick out. So he pushes Punk into the ropes, standing drop kick, 1-2, and a kick out. Punk kicks away. So boot in, high knee lift, and a snap backdrop driver, 1-2, and a kick out. He does it again, and he goes for the axe to grind off the ropes. Punk counters it, spinning neck breaker, and 1-2 and a kick out. Goes up top, Savage Elbow, 1-2, and no. Curtis Axel kicks out. Goes for the go to sleep, gets countered, axe to grind, actually connects this time, 1-2, and a kick out. Out of nowhere, it just, Punk catches him, just fireman's carry, bam, knee to the face, go to sleep, 1-2, 3. So Paul Heyman backs up very slowly, and then Punk gives chase, and chase him to the back. Well, security drags him to the back, from the back all the way to ringside where Punk's waiting for him. He's like, I've waited forever, you son of a bitch. And it's funny because security drags him in the ring, Punk tosses him in, Heyman begs him off, and he gets his hands on Heyman finally, and he starts choking him. Curtis Axel from behind low blows him. So what happens? They pull out handcuffs. This is going to get fun. So they handcuff Punk. Heyman slaps Punk over and over again. So Punk is fighting with no hand. He's fighting basically with his feet at this point. He high angle kicks Curtis Axel, and then he sweeps the leg of Paul Heyman and starts kicking him ferociously. Axel takes a chair and jams it into the lower back. So Axel grabs a Singapore cane, hands it to Paul Heyman. Punk looks at him dead in the eyes and says, "Make it count, you son of a bitch." So Heyman lets him have it, canes him in the back. He's like, "Get him up, hold him for me." So Curtis Axel holds him like a good wrestler should to his manager. And Heyman goes, I loved you. I martyred myself for you. I fathered you. I cared for you. You were everything to me. Everything, and every single time, every single word is another vicious cane shot to the chest, over and over and over again. He canes Punk so many times, he breaks the cane. So, Heyman starts caning Punk with the broken cane, and he shatters it over Punk's back over and over again. He says, I gave you my heart, you broke it. I know how that feels. And what he does is just over and over again, just beating the daylights out of CM Punk with, and like, you see the look on Paul Heyman's face that he is not happy with what he has to do from a storyline perspective, and he does it anyway. So, this was a really, really good segment of the show. I very much enjoyed it. Sorry. I kind of got flagged for having product placement on this channel. So, like, AJ had a McDonald's cup during one of the reviews, and they wouldn't let me monetize the video, so I just had to get that. I did that off camera, so sorry about that. So, anyway. Here's fun time. Next match of the evening, another rematch from SummerSlam. Natalya with Cameron and Naomi, or Ariana and Trinity, depending on if you're watching Total Divas or not. Taking on Brie Bella with her sister Nikki and Eva Marie in her corner. Because that SummerSlam rematch, oh my god. I like Brie Bella. I like her a lot more since I've watched Total Divas. But, God, learn how to call spots a lot quieter. She distinctly yells, stay on your knees. And even if you are not like me, and you don't have any wrestling training, you haven't been in professional matches, you haven't taken bumps, if you haven't had anything wrestling other than just being a fan, just being a random mark, then you still could hear this. I mean, the general public could hear this. I mean, it was loud. But, I guess, things happen sometimes. So she locks her in a grounded abdominal stretch, and Natty picks her up, spins her around in a swinging uranagi, goes for the sharpshooter, and Brie makes it to the ropes. Actually, no. Brie goes to make it to the ropes. Eva grabs the ref's attention, and she gets caught with a boot in the midsection, and Bella Factor, which is of course, the X Factor, or the sit-out face-buster, depending on what you want to call it. 1, 2, 3, and the match is over. So AJ comes out, and this is where it gets fun, folks. This is the promo I really wish I had verbatim, but I don't. And I feel really, really bad about it, but you can't write that fast, sorry. So it's basically just mocking Total Divas and just completely. You know what I see? She basically says that she brings up what happened on Total Divas on Sunday, which is kind of funny, I just watched yesterday. So, she actually says, she talks about the Bellas and their daddy issues, and she talks about Natty doesn't have a great man, obviously putting under Tyson Kidd or TJ Wilson, depending on who you are. Again, if you're watching it in WWE or Earth 2, which is what Total Divas is. Thank you, WNS Podcast. So, we have that. And then it's like, and Cameron and the Funkadactyls broke up, but then they got back together and everything was fine. And the other two, they were kind of just there. So AJ says, you know what I see? I see a bunch of cheap, interchangeable women who did reality television just to simply do it because they couldn't be real actresses. I've done more in 1 year than any of you have done combined in your entire careers. I saved your division. But why do I save it? Just so some stiff plastic mannequins could just walk on through? I gave my life to this, and you were handed 15 minutes of fame? Now, I wasn't cute. Well, obviously AJ is absolutely cute. It wasn't because I was cute. It wasn't because I was from a famous wrestling family. It wasn't because I sucked. Yeah, you know what you're talking about there. I am good. I earned the Divas Championship. And you know what? None of you in that ring will ever be able to lace up my Chuck Taylors. Oh, that was an awesome line. You will never be able to touch me. And that is reality. So that's a pipe bomb, folks. There's a little truth in everything that's said nowadays. Yeah. I can't disagree with most of that, to be totally honest. And the reason AJ was able to get away with saying that is because Total Divas is getting great reviews, great ratings on the E! Network. So what this does, the problem is, it babyfaces AJ to at least 50% of the crowd, which you don't want to do. You want her an AJ babyface, you get her and Biggie Langston to split. But I don't know what to do with this. I mean, AJ and Biggie could be a babyface tandem, but there's no point. Because then they might as well just go back to Dolph, and that's not going to happen. So, you've babyfaced her to at least 50% of the audience. Okay, I'll be more, maybe 20-30% of the audience. 50 might be a little too much. But then again, there's truth in what she said, and a lot of fans are going to think that way. A lot of fans don't like Total Divas. Juliet doesn't like Total Divas. I knew this for a fact, reading this on Twitter. So, yeah, it's really interesting to see what happens with that. And she made those comments, and like I said, there's truth in it, and I'm telling you right now, I mean, what this is building towards, and this is like set in stone, she is going to be facing off against the Total Divas with the Divas Championship on the line at Night of Champions. I'm not sure what this means. Now, does this mean that what I think should happen, Nikki can't work because of an injury. Eva Marie and JoJo are untested, so probably not. You could, I mean, both Cameron and Naomi can go, and Brie can go, and Natty can go. So, what do? Here's what you do. You do a 4-woman, either a 4-way wrestling match or a 4-way battle royal with like elimination rules. Obviously, like, you know, the Divas battle royal is really weird that you can eliminate them by throwing them through the ropes and throwing them under the ropes, as long as they hit the floor. To determine who gets the shot, which Total Divas competitor gets the shot at AJ at Night of Champions. And what you do is you have Natty win. And when Natty wins, Natty faces AJ, because Natty's already beat AJ in an on-title match. So obviously, we have this here. This is already here. This is already a proven storyline that works really well. And you have dissension in the ranks. You maybe have one of the Funkadactyls get involved and everything. So, AJ's going to fight the whole Total Divas roster in order to prove a point. And the Divas Championship is worth a lot more than some reality show. Like I said, really interesting. So, here's our next match. Alberto Del Rio, your World Heavyweight Champion, taking on Rob Van Dam with Ricardo Rodriguez at ringside. Midway through this match, it is officially announced that if Van Dam can win, he gets a world title shot at Night of Champions. Something I called a couple weeks ago. Wrestling Logic 4, yeah, Van Dam's winning this. So, Del Rio with a chin lock, Van Dam elbows out of it. Del Rio with a headbutt, boot in, and he gets the foot caught, step over spin kick, 1-2, and a kick out. Del Rio counters with a German suplex, 1-2, and a kick out. Double stomp to the lower back of Rob Van Dam. He goes up top. He basically dives into a kick from Van Dam, comes off the ropes, 2 clotheslines, and he ducks the clothesline and a standing side kick from Rob Van Dam. Rolling Thunder connects, 1-2, and Del Rio kicks out. So he cuts him off with a knee. Van Dam kicks him right in the face, goes up for the split-legged moonsault, nails it, 1-2, and a kick out. Whip in, it's reversed. Van Dam puts up the back elbow, springboard off the middle rope, and a side kick. Goes up top, presumably for the 5-star, gets crotched. Del Rio climbs up, nails a step-up enziguri kick, 1-2, and no, he kicks out at 2.5. So he uses that body scissors roll-up out of absolutely nowhere, pins Alberto Del Rio, and becomes the contender at Night of Champions for the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay. This is a little too peculiar to me. Why put Ricardo Rodriguez with Rob Van Dam? Well, because that's going to allow people that are not paying attention to be completely shocked when Ricardo turns on Rob Van Dam at Night of Champions and goes back to Alberto Del Rio. I know. Or maybe you drag it out till Survivor Series. But, I mean, I think if you keep Van Dam and Ricardo together, and you can, what you do is, you get RVD. Here's what I do. You put RVD with the primetime players and Ricardo in ring. Have them face off in a Survivor Series match with ADR, the Real Americans, and Zeb Coulter. So that's what you end up doing. You have Ricardo turn on Rob Van Dam and help Del Rio win. And then Del Rio ends up getting revenge. Ricardo got to look like he was going to completely turn on Del Rio, but it was just a ruse to get Van Dam to trust him, and then he stabs him right in the back, or with the bucket, depending on how you look at it. So yeah, I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. Maybe you have the airbrush shirt that Ricardo wore on Raw tonight. Maybe you have that, and underneath it is the Alberto Del Rio t-shirt, and then he can rip that shirt off and toss it at Van Dam, and he's wearing the Del Rio shirt, and he hugs out Alberto Del Rio, and that's how we end. I think that'd be a good idea, if they stick that. Unless they want to just blow it off at Night of Champions, and then what's the point? This is what I would do personally. This is like armchair booking. What you do is, you have Del Rio and Van Dam at Night of Champions. Del Rio's going to retain with, God, actually, no. Well, maybe. Because what this does, if I go with the Survivor Series idea I came up with, that takes the World Heavyweight Championship match away from happening at Survivor Series. And I don't know if they want to do that. But then again, the World Heavyweight title is kind of being treated kind of like the Intercontinental title used to be. Actually, not used to be, like it is now. Because the Intercontinental title used to be the secondary championship in line for the WWF title. And now the Intercontinental Championship is probably about third or fourth down the food, probably fourth down the food chain. So you got the WWE Championship. That's the gold standard. Then you've got, well, the World Heavyweight title I guess would be next, then the US, then the Intercontinental. And then, yeah, there you go. That's what I would do. It's second on the food chain, but it's a very low second on the food chain, so yeah. So, I mean, you could have Del Rio retain at Night of Champions and have Van Dam chase for a bit. Kind of like what they're going to do with Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. Oops, I blew that spot from later on in the show. But, yeah. I would do Van Dam is about to beat Alberto, and Del Rio somehow ekes his way out, and maybe, like I said, maybe he gets helped by the Real Americans, and then you have the primetime players come out, make the save, and we set up for that four-way Survivor Series match, the 8-man tag with the Real Americans, with Zeb Coulter wrestling, and Alberto Del Rio taking on the primetime players, Ricardo and Rob Van Dam. That's what I think we should do. That'd be a great idea. I would have put Sin Cara in that spot, but yeah, he may not be with the company too much longer. And that's because he's a pansy. So, yeah. Now, let's talk about what else we got lately. That actually was a good match for what it was. We get our next match. One of the best matches of the night. This match was happened. This is the 9th time it's happened. And it's Christian against Randy Orton. Randy Orton, of course, the WWE champion now, and Christian just off of being a contender for Alberto Del Rio and being on the losing end of the stick at SummerSlam. So we go midway through the match, and this match was really good, actually. Great back and forth matchup. These two know each other very, very well, so it's no surprise that they're going to put together a tremendous match. Let's talk about it. Christian nails a falling inverted DDT, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes up top, presumably for the flying body press, and Orton gets up to his feet, and Christian dives off, leapfrogs over Orton, and Orton nails him with a nice standing drop kick. He stomps him on the face, and he chokes him on the bottom rope. So it looks like he's going to go for the slingshot suplex, but he ends up hanging him out to dry, and a high knee lift knocks Christian off the rope to the floor. So Orton brings him back in, and Garvin stomp, and a leaping knee drop, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for the chin lock. Christian elbows his way out, boot in, and a slam, and he punches out of the inverted DDT attempt. Headbutt, and he makes a cover off the headbutt, 1-2, and a kick out. So it goes back to the chin lock. Christian again elbows out of it. They trade blows, whip in, and a back elbow. Christian goes for a tornado DDT, gets countered, and Orton just flat out just shoves him to the floor. So we come back to live action. They go up top, and they trade blows. Orton gets the upper hand and nails St. Louis uppercut. He climbs up, going for the superplex, and he lands it, and Orton goes to pick him up, and he gets rolled into an inside cradle, 1-2, and a kick out. So, goes for Vintage Orton, it gets countered, and big right hand, 10 punch, whip in, clothesline, Christian goes to the ring apron, goes for the snake bite DDT, and he gets caught with a neck snap, does Randy Orton. He goes up top, Christian nails the flying body press, 1-2, and Orton kicks out. So he goes for the middle, he goes to the middle rope, and he dives off. It gets countered into a jackknife cover from Randy Orton, 1-2, and a kick out. Gets reversed into another pinfall attempt, this time by Christian. It was sunset this time, 1-2, and a kick out. And he goes for a snake bite DDT again, gets countered again, goes for the kill switch. Orton elbows out of it, charges in, Christian puts the boots up, tornado DDT, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for the slingshot into the uppercut, and Orton catches him this time, because they know each other so well. The telegraph is definitely there. Drags him back in, snakebite DDT, goes for the RKO, Christian tosses him off, goes for the spear, Orton leapfrogs over it, and when he lands, Christian plants him with the spear, 1-2, and a kick out. Orton pushes him in the corner, goes for the RKO, gets countered again, goes for the kill switch, and he pushes him off into the referee, but they stop before the referee is collided with. And while the referee is momentarily distracted, Orton thumbs him in the eye, nails the RKO, 1-2-3. What a match between these two, and a tremendous contest between these two. Very enjoyable match. So, we get Daniel Bryan on the Titantron, and you knew this was going to happen. Bravo. Take it from a B+. That was A+ right there. You're the face of the WWE. And look at that sweet prize that Triple H gave you. A pretty car for a pretty man. But what if I beat you and become champion? Would that make me the face of the WWE? So he's standing by the Escalade, and we know something bad's about to happen in Randy Orton's Escalade, so in true Stone Cold Daniel Bryan fashion, what happens? Would that make me the face of the WWE? Scroll it across. The Escalade is in orange spray paint, yes. And it's probably in there about 95,000 times. I don't know exactly how many, but it was a lot. It was all over the Escalade. Glass, doors, windows, everything. So, yeah, Randy Orton's a little bit peeved. So basically, Triple H and Brad Maddox are looking over the damage, and Triple H basically says that he's putting Bryan on notice, and he wants all the workers in the locker room to stand at the ramp and watch what's going to happen to Daniel Bryan, watch what happens when you cross the boss, you know. We know that old chestnut we've heard 1,000 times. And just, again, like I predicted last week, we get a singles match between one half of the Primetime Players, Titus O'Neil, and one half of Zeb's Militia, or the Real Americans, depending on who calls the match, Jack Swagger. So, Titus gets caught with a short arm clothesline, and only, he kicks out at one, actually. 4 big shoulder blocks, and Titus with the Floridian uppercut and big-time DDT to the knee by Jack Swagger, of course, setting up the Patriot lock. Chokes him on the middle rope, and backdrop suplex, 1-2, and a kick out. So he locks on a key lock. Titus punches his way out. Elbow, he charges in, he misses. Two big shoulders off the ropes. He ducks the clothesline, and he goes for the fall-away slam. You know, the fall-away slam that basically just like tosses him backwards. He doesn't bump with it. And he ducks the big boot, does Swagger. He does that diving clip to the knee, takes the knee out, goes for the Patriot lock. Titus kicks him off. He puts the boots up, and he tries to pin him with his feet on the ropes for leverage. Darren Young knocks the feet off the ropes, and he walks into a one-handed spine buster, and that's the match. So, still building towards Primetime Players and the Real Americans for an elongated feud. So yeah, I think this will work. And like I said, the stuff with ADR and the Real Americans against the Primetime Players, Van Dam and Ricardo, I think it works really well. And it plays off really well. So CM Punk is pretty mad. And Brad Maddox is looking to get him medical attention for the attack from Paul Heyman and Curtis Axel earlier on in the show. And basically he's like, I want Paul Heyman, I don't care what I have to do. And if you don't give me Paul Heyman, maybe you won't survive. He's like, I'm going to start checking, I'm going to paraphrase, he basically said he's just going to start taking out people one by one until he gets to Paul Heyman. He's like, okay, fine. I'll give you your match. Night of Champions, you face Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman in a handicap elimination match. And if Paul Heyman somehow weasels his way out, then you'll never see him again. And Punk basically says if he shows up, you'll never see him again. So yeah, we're continuing this feud. Main event of the evening. Oh my God. Daniel Bryan runs the Shield Gauntlet. So he starts it off with Seth Rollins. And I remember the last time these guys worked on Raw in a singles match. I remember calling that move for move, and that was awesome. So I didn't get to do that this time, but it's still a good match. Okay. Bryan hits a drop toe hold. Turns it into a surfboard with the chin lock. And probably into the Dragon Sleeper. I'm pretty sure he locked it on at one point. But no, he usually does, but that's normally what he goes for. But he only used the chin lock like this time. So Rollins does the back elbow out. And he gets kicked in the spine on two separate occasions. Whip in, and Bryan puts the knee up into the midsection. Cactus clothesline knocks both men over the top to the floor. Bryan looks like he's going to attack. And, of course, you've got Ambrose on one side and Roman on the other. And, of course, you're like, I got to do that. So Seth ends up capitalizing on the fact that Bryan was a little bit wondering what he should do at this point because he's got both Shield members on opposite sides of him. And he ends up getting rammed ribs first into the barricade. Toss him back in, goes for a cover, but Bryan kicks out at 1. So he whips him in, backflip, lands on his feet, comes off, ducks the clothesline, nails the hooking clothesline, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for the yes kicks, goes for the buzzsaw, Rollins ducks out of it, and rolls to the floor, which is an interesting way. Rolls to the apron this time, he stops with the apron. Neck snap on Bryan on the top rope. He goes up top with the springboard into a knee strike, gets countered into a half crab, which almost makes Rollins tap, but he gets the ropes before he has to. So Bryan baseball slide drop kick sends him to the floor, and he nails the tope with so much momentum. He knocks Rollins over the announce table onto the laps of Cole and Lawler, which is awesome. It was a great maneuver. So we get back to live action on the WWE app, and Shinamaki's applied by Seth Rollins, which is the Cobra Clutch in this case, and he just tosses Bryan hard to the canvas. He does the charging forearm in the corner, and then he does it on the opposite side. So he does it on one corner, and then he hits on the opposite corner. And then he charges one more time, and when he charges, Bryan charges again, and nails a big-time drop kick. And Bryan gets caught with a sunset flip, and he drops down, hooking the legs, trying to get the pin right there, and only gets a 2 count. Ducks the clothesline, enziguri kick from Seth Rollins, and this was an awesome spot, too. It's kind of funny because there was actually, you want to go back in time, there was a move that I wanted to I wanted to do a version of the Masked Magician in my old, like, when I was talking about, like, wrestling E-Feds, if you guys don't remember anything about those. There was a gimmick called the Masked Magician, and he had a finish called the Reveal. And what it was a pickup, like an inverted suplex, turning a reverse CDT. And kind of like what Axl Rotten used to do back in the day. And he ended up planning him with that. And it looked awesome, by the way. He gets a 2 count out of it, though. Puts him on the top turnbuckle. Headbutt, chops, climbs up. And he goes for a superplex. Bryan punches his way out. And he gets crotched up top backwards. Well, Bryan crotches him up top backwards, does Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins is precariously crotched on the top rope. Bryan waistlocks him. German superplexes him off the top, which looked absolutely incredible. And the Busaiku knee finishes off Seth Rollins 1, 2, 3. Ambrose immediately attacks. So he gets countered into the yes lock. Reigns makes the save, which disqualifies Ambrose, so that means Roman Reigns officially in this match. So Roman breaks it up, and then of course disqualifies Ambrose, so the second part of the gauntlet goes to Daniel Bryan. So he ends up working Reigns into the yes lock, finally. So Ambrose pulls him off, and they end up spearing Bryan. Triple H comes out. You see the Big Show this whole time. And obviously I'm not a Big Show fan. But Big Show has got something that was probably forgotten by a WWE creative. Big Show, thanks to Super Dave Osborne himself, John Laurinaitis, Mr. Personality, gave him an ironclad contract. Which means he cannot be fired by anyone. Not Vince, not Triple H, not anyone. So if he wanted to help Daniel Bryan, he could have. And he should have. But he didn't, and Bryan took a beating. So Triple H, stands there, and Big Show is looking at him with disgust. The entire locker room's doing the same thing. So they triple powerbomb Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton comes out, and Triple H waves him through. It's like, okay, fine. So the Shield pick Bryan up. Orton locks him in the cravat, RKOs him. So Triple H basically just makes an example out of Daniel Bryan. So Triple H and Orton walk away to the back. No one helps Bryan, and that's how we end Raw. Okay. So, what you do here is you have established Daniel Bryan as the main sympathetic babyface in the company. It is all about the chase. Bryan will not win at Night of Champions. Oh, no. And I will agree with a lot of people on the internet, a lot of experts say that this should go all the way to Mania. I don't have a problem with that, but I want Punk and Bryan at Mania, so yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, interesting show, and Triple H comes off like a bastard, and I like it. I think this is an awesome angle. This elevates Daniel Bryan in every single way possible, and I think Bryan needs to get his shine back, without question. He's taken beatings the last 4 shows. He's been left laying. Bryan needs to get over on somebody. I don't know, maybe he traps Rollins and he threatens to break his arm or something like that, and we go that route. And Triple H he's expendable, who cares? I'll just replace him tomorrow. And I mean, this is what you do. You have Triple H and Randy Orton and the Shield, and they're all fighting with Daniel Bryan. Bryan has no friends in this company at this point, because everyone is scared to touch anybody in this corporate regime, because if they do, ramifications will happen. The Miz pretty much said that he was about ready to say something, and he got stopped. And he stopped himself. And it was a really, really timid thing. But Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, and The Miz all were talked to on the entrance ramp by Renee Young. And it was really interesting to see that nobody said anything. So, yeah, if you cross the new corporate regime in the WWE, there will be serious consequences, as Dolph and the Big Show both found out last week on Raw. So, Miz didn't say anything he was about to, so I don't think he'll be fine. So yeah, this is what you do. You build Bryan, you're building Bryan, you're building Bryan, you want him to chase, keep getting his ass kicked by the entire corporate regime, and you have so much you can go with this. You have Bryan go through the Shield. He takes the care of the Shield's done. And then, like I said, I mean, if this was a year down the road, I would have totally been okay with Bryan getting help from the Wyatts, turning the Wyatts babyface. But you can't do that yet. You cannot do that. They have to be established first. And I know a lot of people they're not established with. They're amazing. I love Bray Wyatt, I love Eric Rowan, and I love Luke Harper, and they're all awesome. And they will be on a collision course with the Shield eventually, but not yet. It's not time to pull the trigger on this. So, Bryan needs some allies, and he doesn't have any. He does have people that hate Randy Orton and Triple H as much as him, but no one's willing to help him. So you have to establish people willing to help him. Big Show, if he punched out Triple H or Randy Orton with the knockout punch, he looked like he had his fist up, he looked like he was going to do something, and that's what they wanted you to think, obviously. They wanted you to think that Big Show was going to make the save for Daniel Bryan, completely disregarding the fact that Daniel Bryan choked him out for the World Heavyweight Championship. So, needless to say, why would the Big Show help him? Because this is babyface Big Show now. His 4th millionth babyface turn in WWE. So yeah, Mark Henry and the Big Show and Dolph Ziggler, these people will all help Daniel Bryan at one point or another. And of course, this ends up leading to Big Show and Mark Henry against Reigns and Rollins for the WWE Tag Team Championships at Night of Champions, and Dolph Ziggler against Dean Ambrose for the United States title at Night of Champions. And I was calling Punk and Axel for the Intercontinental title, but apparently it's not going to be a title match with the handicap rules. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So yeah. And Del Rio and Van Dam, of course, for the World Heavyweight Championship. So, a lot of questions still to be answered. Good show, though. Good show overall. And interesting television, week upon week with WWE right now. So, yeah. We will be talking WWE again on Saturday. We will be doing NXT and SmackDown on Saturday. And, of course, Saturday will be your last Summer of Tarantino, where we will talk about AJ's favorites. A little short video. It's going to talk about the favorites. So AJ's going to rank his Tarantino films. And I might do the same myself, to be totally honest. So that's got that. So for the rest of the week, let's talk about our schedule here on Pop. So tomorrow, you've got the World's End recap. We're going to be talking about the World's End. There's a nice movie review of the World's End. And on Wednesday, you're going to get your verses for this week. 31 Flavors is your cryptic comment. On Thursday, we've got the final reveal of the 8th house of Halloween Horror Nights 23, which most likely will end up being Resident Evil, is what everybody's saying. So I will discuss that at midnight. And of course, we've got TNA Impact that I'll be talking on Thursday night. I'll be in Cleveland, Ohio, and Hulk Hogan makes his return after being off television for a couple of weeks now. So we've got that. Friday, AJ's movie reviews. We're going to be talking Passion. We're going to be talking The Bling Ring. We're going to be talking Blackfish. And we're going to be talking Sharknado, among potentially others. So we've got those in the can ready to go. Like I said, Saturday is the last Summer of Tarantino, and we go out with a bang the final week of August talking about AJ's favorites. Saturday will also be NXT and SmackDown. And Sunday we have, of course, a brand new Versus as well. So you're getting a Versus on Wednesday and a Versus on Sunday, our regular day for Versus. So a lot of content on Pop still to come later this week. So if you like these videos, tell your friends about them. Do leave a comment. Do subscribe. And if you want to tweet me, you're more than welcome to. You can find me on Twitter. It's at SirOwenDisney. If you want to send me an email for whatever reason, SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. You want to send me an email, send me your content, become part of Pop and the Popcaster Revolution. You're more than welcome to do it that way. Or you can find me on Facebook, Owen Disney. Very easy to find. So, until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.